Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deerigan. Alongside me, as always, is the ice cream smashing PC muscle race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
The ice cream's all gone now, so
I'm sure there's another one somewhere. Just gotta look harder.
No. I ate
that
everything.
Plastic.
The plan was to eat it all before we rolled the show, and show's rolling, and they're all gone.
That's fair.
What's up, everybody?
Also joining us this week is the mad pharmacist herself, Stephany Klimov.
Hello.
I thought I should start using that because it's everywhere, literally everywhere. And I needed a better name for you.
Not so secret pen name.
Yeah, it's out there now. Whoops.
Yep.
The world.
I've been identified.
Also joining us from the contributing writer to the Boss Rush writing team, his first time on the show, hopefully not his last, our guest, Patrick Knisley. Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you got some cool puppets back there.
Yeah.
Please share that story. Please share.
Oh, okay.
You did tell us before we started recording, but we're live now, so.
Yeah, I liked puppets a lot when I was a kid, and then I got into doing like live comedy and stage stuff as a adult, and I met a person who we had like a puppet improv troupe together, and we would build puppets, and I learned how to like make and puppeteer, and did a lot of shows, and it's still I don't know, something I haven't done a lot with it lately, but it's something I have intentions for.
That is so
There's a couple
cool.
right here.
Let me know when you start up shows again. I will fly over to where you are and see that show.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah. Jim Henson was one of my idols growing up, so I Never Ending Story, Dark Crystal,
yeah,
Labyrinth, and of
all
course his most famous and best thing is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original movie. Everybody knows that.
I didn't know he was involved with that.
Yeah, that was the last project he worked on before he died.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I have this big coffee table book, I guess is what they're called, but it's called No Strings Attached, and it's everything Jim Henson worked on in his career, and it goes through like the history of like, him kind of working on Sesame Street and then the Muppets, and obviously the movies that he's been involved in, and Fraggle Rock is in there, and it's awesome. Oh, yeah. It's so cool.
Wow.
Oh, I love that book so much. My daughter ripped the cover the first time she saw it, but it's okay.
Kids.
I know. God, kids. It's okay. I didn't have to clean any artwork off the walls this weekend.
That's a plus.
But
Yeah, that's winning. That's what that is.
well, also, we weren't here this weekend.
Okay, well, you can't take credit.
I know. I didn't have to do it, though. Right? It's like the Browns had a bye week this week, so they didn't lose. So, that's... Can't lose when you don't play. It's like that meme with the guy that points at his head. In case anybody missed that, I had to explain it. Yeah, this weekend was interesting. So I don't know if I want to tell that story on air, even though I told it on Arsenal X on Sunday.
Hint: it involved trash pandas.
Oh my gosh, dude. Okay, I'll just tell it. There's a raccoon that is living in our ceiling, and it actually was back today. Like, we heard it banging around in the cupboards over here. They didn't catch it. It's still here. But like, God, like, it's been here for like 2 weeks now, and we had to have like the pest control spray our house down because it brought like the pest control said it probably wasn't the raccoon, but we're still going to say that it was the raccoon because it's the only way I can explain how this happened. And our cat has fleas, and now the fleas are like getting into the carpet, and it's like, oh, it's so gross.
Fleas suck.
Yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Like, you could go hours without seeing one, and then I'll be going to the bathroom, and there'll be like 3 of them crawling on my leg, and you're like, oh my God, where did this come from? So we've tried to isolate the cat to the bathroom that we rarely use. It's kind of working, but also like, I don't know. Ugh. It's better. It's way better than it was though. But they are coming back to spray a second time.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the fleas are coming back. They breed pretty quick.
I know.
Yeah.
They're everywhere, but it's gotten better, and they're coming back next week to do another spray. But man, we were at my mother-in-law's all weekend. I mean, I stayed here a night, but my wife and kids were over there, and like my wife's over it, and I'm over it, but she's like really over it because I get to escape to work and go, not kind of think about it while she's thinking about it all day. So she's been a trooper. So that was my weekend.
Man, it sucks. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was awful. So it's just gross, man. And like all my kids' toys and stuff are over here because we had to clean out the toy room so they could spray the room, and that's what all that crap
The fact
is
that they
in the
still can't get rid of that damn raccoon, like I don't know how the heck that
Yeah, I
thing's...
know.
Yeah, we've had like 8 of them this year.
Jeez.
They put a cage
How
on the
hell are they
roof,
getting in?
and they'll catch them, and then 2 or 3 weeks later there'll be another one, and then at one point there was a whole family. Like they
There's
caught
gotta
them.
be some way they're getting in.
Yeah,
You gotta
How
see
are
that.
they getting in?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
see
It's
what
like
else.
so we live in a twinplex, and we think there's an opening on the other side, and it just walks through the roof, and like,
Probably.
it's just
Lots and lots of duct tape.
Yeah.
it's all right. We
Whole
kind of
house.
it's like we hate the raccoon, but now we're like, I already didn't like the cat, and like my wife's really over the cat too, because like, it was like something she got when she like, not to like go deep into my wife's personal life. I don't really want to do that, but like, she got it because she broke up with someone, and then like I kind of started dating her, and I kind of married into this cat. So like it's just like it's like mine by association only.
Yep.
And God, I hate this cat. Oh, it's so like.
Well, you know what, Corey? It hates you too.
I know it does. It does.
Yeah.
You are not wrong. You're not wrong. So, hope everybody else had a good weekend though.
Not as good as yours.
Yeah. So, and all I'm trying to do here is review Halo, okay? And I can't even play it because I was not here all weekend. So,
Oh.
stupid. Sorry, I'm downloading the update, the day 1 update right now. So, hopefully it's done by the time we are. Because I really want to play it. I'm going to stay up late. I already warned everybody at work tomorrow. I'm like, hey, if I'm tired, I'm sorry. Okay.
Corey, speaking of staying up late, you'll be so proud of me. Last night, as soon as I wrapped up Crossroads, I went ahead and edited and cut the show and had it ready for upload to YouTube.
Wow. Look at you.
Yeah, like you know me. I'm fucking lazy. Like I will close OBS and that's it. I will tackle it during the day the next day, but nah, like my ass was up till 1:30 last night because I've learned all these tricks. I've learned all these tricks with the editing software DaVinci Resolve.
Yeah.
And so now I can do it all in one project. Like create the episode, drop in all the stuff that I need, and then clip the stuff, create new timelines, and make the pod clips and all that stuff. So. Yeah, I'm just on a tear. Like I figured it out last Friday, and just since then, just like running with it.
Proud of you. Look at you.
Thank you.
He's growing up so fast.
Now I just wish I had the artistic talent you have, so I can make like the cool little grids and the layouts and all that stuff.
Oh, stop.
I mean, no, for real. I don't have that. I can't draw and design to save my life. I could write shit all day long though.
Yeah. But have you been writing?
Oh.
Okay, I can write stories. That's what I meant to say. God, you just had to go there, didn't you?
I did.
Had to.
I did. I just want to, I've started trying a little bit. So it's your turn, LeRon. Chop, chop. There's a lot of PlayStation stories out there, I'm sure. Like the sexual predator that was their vice president.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I'm working on a feature piece for that right now. It's gonna talk about George Cassiopo. That's the guy, by the way. But it's also gonna talk about just all the bullshit that's going on, and that that's getting all the attention in the gaming industry, and and basically the only reason why it's getting all this attention is because right now, as always, the video game industry is just really low hanging fruit, for people to talk about, like
you mean like that kid who shot up his school and they blamed Fallout 4 for it? Did you see that?
We're not. Wait, we're not talking about the kid in
Michigan, right?
We're not talking about that kid. We're not talking about that kid just now, are we?
I think so.
No. That kid did a whole diagram and then said it was for a video game he was designing.
Mm.
Well, LeRon, speaking of writing, I'm still waiting on that collaboration with the Kingdom Hearts piece.
You know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it.
For how long? Like a month?
No. Yeah, for a month. Yeah. Well, let's do it. Let's do it.
What do you mean, let's do it? My part's already done.
Ooh.
Oh, your part's already done?
Well, I don't know. I shared with you. Oh, anyway.
I feel like Patrick's just a kid sitting here listening to his parents argue while he's trying to just.
Can I have dinner?
Just sit there and be quiet.
Mom and your two dads are fighting. Good times.
Oh well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I really am the dad in this relationship, because apparently I'm ignoring everything the wife has said.
At least it's in fake life and not in real life like me. Anyways, yeah.
Of course though. Like it's Wednesday. It's it's one of my favorite nights of the week.
I know. It's
one of my 7 favorites.
Well, no. I don't have that many favorite nights, but whatever nights the Boss Rush podcast happens, and new Star Trek is, that's usually my favorite night of the week.
Yeah, I actually listening to last week's episode. You actually tipped me off. I didn't even realize that Discovery was back on.
Oh yeah. Like episode 4 is
already
5.
Man.
5 is. I think 5 is 5. That sounds way too far. I think it's episode 4 tonight. Yeah.
Oh.
Too much going on.
Too much. I'm 2 episodes behind on Hawkeye. I'm like,
me too.
I haven't finished Cowboy Bebop. I'm trying to play 4 giant games, I guess, if you count Guardians and Tales and Halo and Destiny.
Oh, we need to briefly talk about Guardians whenever we get to what we're playing.
Yeah, we do. I kind of just totally. Tales of Arise took over my life for like a week, and then
I'm sorry.
No,
well, I mean that's a good game to take over your life, though. I
know it's so good, man. I love the characters. It's giving me the Final Fantasy X vibes. Not that it's the same story, but it's definitely giving me the characters and their relationship is giving me the vibes I felt when I first played Final Fantasy X, and it was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, so good. So good. Thank you, mysterious gift giver. Let's see. Where are we at now? Housekeeping, I guess. And then I deleted all of the show notes with the housekeeping on it, so I forgot it all. Anyways, I'm going to pretend like I'm not reading off my phone. This is the Boss Rush Podcast, a flagship show of the Boss Rush Network, where each and every week we get together with our friends from around the internet to talk about video games, movies, entertainment, everything we love about it. You can catch the Boss Rush Podcast every Wednesday night live on twitch.tv/Boss Rush Network or on YouTube and podcast services every Monday morning. You can follow us on social media at Boss Rush Network. Join our Discord and Facebook groups and find all of our shows and content on bossrush.net. Merch store's open, people. Go buy your shirts, your stickers, your mugs, your throw pillows.
Your sleeveless tees.
Yeah, your sleeveless tees. LeRon starts making demands in the Discord channel of like, I need a sleeveless vest in a banana hammock, and I don't know what else he asked for.
Hold on. Somebody asked, what else do we want? So I just spitballed a whole bunch of suggestions out there. That's all.
I meant logos and stuff, LeRon, not like...
Oh, logos, not apparel. Oh, my bad.
I don't need a gag ball with the Boss Rush podcast logo on it. Okay, I'm just sorry.
I do. I would like some. I would like some traditional Boss Rush boxer shorts though, like traditional ones, like like the woven kind, not the not
the
trunks
woven kind, like the old
briefs.
times where some old lady sits in a spinning wheel and knits them herself.
Exactly. And there's no button in the fly and everything. Yeah, those.
Man. Anyway,
I guess we should roll After Dark.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have that conversation after recording today. So yeah, if you want a nice normal piece of clothing or water bottle or sticker or something, you can head on over to bossrush.net and click on store, and it'll take you right there. Or the URL is redbubble.com/bossrush network, but a lot of people don't remember that first part because I don't know. But Stoy sent me a picture. He bought the Sick shirt. It looked really good. So
nice.
I was happy. In a picture, it looked good. I don't know the quality. The stuff I've ordered from there before for like the old podcasts I used to do was relatively good quality. So it's not the best, but it's also not the worst. So I'm going to be honest with you. But the shirts are there. And they're fun.
I was going to say, maybe for stuff like shirts, it's fine. But, like, for example, I was like, oh, I wonder what a dress or a skirt looks like because that's an option. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Pat's just shaking his head.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good.
You got to get that. You got to get the A-line dress with the patterned logos on it, Stephany, and just, like, go out one day.
Yeah, go on a fancy dinner night and be like, this is my Boss Rush dress.
Yeah.
It's a one-size-fits-all dress, yeah.
It's stretchy. All right, let's get us out of here. What are we doing? Who's playing something? Somebody. Patrick, you're our guest. What are you doing with your life? Are you watching anything? Playing anything?
Like video games? Playing?
Yeah, whatever.
Sure.
Music, games. I don't know.
Movies, shows.
You look like somebody who dabbles in the music area.
I've been known to listen to a song or two. But I don't know that I'm listening to anything new or I have any good music to recommend. But I don't know. I've been watching the Hawkeye show, like y'all talked about. I really enjoy that. I'm a big fan of the comic book that it's based on, Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run. I mean, very loosely based on because it's in the MCU and Hawkeye isn't a single loner dude living in an apartment. But but I do love what they've taken and how they've kind of taken the tone of that and made it work in the MCU. I don't know. Been playing a lot of Smash Ultimate and Halo Infinite for multiplayer. I like to play random people online a lot.
That Halo multiplayer is very good.
Yes, I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy it.
Oh, neither am I. I don't care if I win or lose. I just want to go in there and shoot people.
Yep. And I've been playing Shin Megami Tensei 5. Yeah.
Nice. How many hours are you into it, like, approximately?
Approximately, maybe 20.
And I hear that's like barely a dent, right, into how long the game is.
Yeah, like I don't know if this is spoiler territory for people, but my understanding is there are about 4 major areas, and I'm in the second one.
Ooh. Okay.
So, yeah.
Sounds like you're a little deep into it.
Yeah, it's like not quite halfway, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's most of it.
Nice mix.
Yeah, real good mix. LeRon, what are you doing?
You guys are gonna laugh again.
Oh gosh, is this?
So over the weekend, the boyfriend and I, like we usually every Saturday, like there's an online game night with a bunch of friends and stuff, and so we were playing some of the new stuff new stuff that's available in Among Us. So I mean I'm not sure if you guys have actually played it, but the game's changed somewhat. It's actually I'm just gonna say the experience is elevated. So like if you're a crewmate, like your anxiety level probably goes through the roof now because now the imposters can actually imposter other players in the game. Like they can actually morph into another player in the game, and it just causes all sorts of like craziness. To put it lightly, but also like crewmates now have like their own like roles and stuff like that. Like a crewmate. Two of the roles that I had seen when we were playing that night was a crewmate can be an engineer, and now the engineers can actually use the vents to travel and stuff like that. So that's actually pretty cool. And then there's the technician or the scientist. I can't remember if it's technician or scientist, but they have the ability to like they can pull up a chart and they can see everybody's vitals, so they can tell when somebody's dead.
Oh wow.
And so the first time I was the scientist, as soon as I saw that somebody was dead, I immediately like ran to the room and called the emergency meeting. And then I was like, okay, well this person's dead, and then they're like, okay, so what about it? I was like, I don't know. I just want to let somebody know that this person's dead.
That does sound like that changes the game quite a bit, but also like that's a good thing because, like you said, it makes it evolve and people, have played it a lot, that sort of thing. So
yeah. Last night I was telling Austin about it on Crossroads, and he said something like that's what the game needed because the game is fun and then it gets stale really fast. So like something like that. Like he said, he'd actually want to check it out. Like like sometime later on this week. And then here's the part where you guys are gonna laugh because I got sucked into some more new Super Mario Bros. Deluxe U.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like a struggle to say there, LeRon.
He doesn't want to admit he got into a Nintendo game.
Well, I mean, it's a struggle to say because like I'm not even sure if I said the name correctly. I'm like, what? Why are these games getting more and more convoluted with their naming schemes? Why?
Yeah. It's a mouthful.
yeah. Basically there's that, but my boyfriend found out that I can be a bit of a completionist because I'm one of those people where like if I miss one star coin and when I beat the stage, I immediately replay the stage.
Way to do it.
I immediately replay the stage. But by the way, I see what you guys were talking about because Corey, you Ed and Galatrad had spoke about this a while back on Pal Block. Like they've made the game super easy because now like you can go like Luigi mode and have Luigi play the stage for you and clear it. He won't get all the secrets and everything, but he'll clear the stage for you and stuff like that.
You can stop him. Like if there's like a gap you can't get, like you can stop him from.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can he'll like continue until you tell him to stop, and then I think you actually just play as Luigi for the rest of the map. But yeah,
all I gotta say is thank God he doesn't have that stupid ass jump.
Oh my gosh, the Luigi jump's the best. You suck.
I'd rather play with Toad and his no jumping ass.
I mean, Toad's the fastest. You want to play as Toad, so
exactly. Yeah. So and beyond that, the season 3, and it's actually the final season of Lost in Space just kicked off on Netflix. So
I also missed that. Oh,
Season 3 kicked off on the 3rd. So of course it's Netflix. So every episode's out there now. So the final season's out there for Lost in Space.
The truth is out there, they say.
And so I saw the first episode. The other night, and it's good. I'm just gonna say this. I hate the way streaming networks do the shows now. Like you get so few episodes, and then you wait like a whole damn year for the next season to start off. And I'm one of those people where like I will straight up forget what the hell happened last season by the time the show comes on a year later. And I think that's kind of the effect though. They're like when they announce that the new season's coming, like they want people to go back in and like rewatch the show and stuff, because that's how they get their click throughs and all that stuff and things like that. Which I do it, of course, but at the same time, growing up in the 80s and stuff, like where TV series had like 26 or 28 episode seasons and stuff like that, so it only had like 2 months off before like before the next season began. I'm really spoiled on that, like the events happened fresh in my brain, but I swear to you, like when season 8 of Game of Thrones came along, I had to go all the way back to season 1 and start watching that, because I was like, man, I've forgotten so much stuff, and like I was getting tired every time, because I noticed somewhere around season 6, I noticed that every time something would happen, I was like, wait, what are they referring to? I don't, well, yeah, like they change actors and stuff like that. And like, who's this guy? It's like your show has a problem when people can't make a 10-year commitment to a show that can be over in less than 10 years. Yeah. Yeah. So, but the crazy thing about Lost in Space, man, like first season, right? Like Will Robinson, the kid, he was a kid, and now in this season, like, man, he's damn near a grown man because of the filming time. Like you've literally seen the kid grow up, and it's funny because between each season they have to time lapse it, because they know like Will Robinson is getting older, so they have to. So it's like, yeah, like I think it said in this, like it's been a year since the events of the finale for season 2, and it's like, wow, that's crazy, but it works because, like I said, like he's damn near a grown ass man, so it works. So yeah, that's everything. I'm gonna play catch up on Hawkeye real soon, and of course, like I'm waiting for Discovery to come on tonight, even though I'm not staying up to watch it, but I'll watch it first thing in the morning when I wake up.
Huh. Cool. I understood everything you said about Lost in Space.
See, I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. I used to watch the old black and white show, and then the movie came out in the '90s. And
you mean when it was like new and new episodes of the black and white show were coming out, you were still watching it?
Shut the hell up! I was supposed to be reruns. Shut the hell up!
Oh look, now he's double fisting his Yetis again.
No, I only got the one Yeti. The other Yeti's in the dishwasher.
Well, guess what? We have a drawer at work full of Yetis, and they're all free because they're all swag from old events.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I don't have one, though.
Like, are they the Yeti mugs or the Yeti tumblers? What are they?
It's whatever you want. It's the tall ones or the short ones. They're like these weird ones. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands right now.
The amorphous Yeti.
Oh, Stephany.
All right, Stephany, your turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
TV show wise, I mean, I'm just playing catch up. Hulu had a Black Friday sale where you could sign up for a year for 99 cents a month. Yep. So I hopped back on that, and I started watching Only Murders in the Building.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't watch a lot of trashy shows, but I was really hoping to kind of just sink my teeth in a 90-Day Fiance, but I don't think I have the right tier subscription, and I'm not paying extra for that.
Oh, my wife watches that show religiously.
It's I don't know, it's funny. Anyway, and every once in a while I'll catch up on Big Mouth on Netflix, but I really haven't been watching a lot of TV. With games, did I say it last week or this week? I rolled credits on Metroid. Maybe I said that last week.
But you did, but you can repeat
yourself. You said it last week, but yeah.
I'm very proud of that, though.
Just say it again.
I rolled credits on Metroid Dread.
Nice. Great job, Stephany. Proud of you.
So on the Switch, I'm playing Firewatch. And then on Xbox, I didn't start it yet, but I downloaded Hades on Game Pass. So I'm going to start Hades on my Xbox, and I'm still playing Alien Fireteam Elite with David Lasby, which, by the way, once it comes to Game Pass, I expect more people to play with us.
When is it coming?
I feel like she's looking at my picture on the Skype screen. Because I did mention it in the.
If she's looking at you, I'm pretty sure Lasby is waiting for it to come out. So
I can feel Lasby is like, when people get really anxious, like they start bouncing their knee up and down really fast, and he's like tapping the table or like tapping his pen or like drinking his coffee real fast. Like, can feel I can feel Lasby's energy doing that. He's like, come on. It's only the 8th. It comes out on the 14th. Come on.
It's all right. He's got me kind of into that energy too. I've actually gone through all the missions with him and leveled up 2 of my loadouts. So it's actually a lot of fun. And then lastly, I am still forging away on my PS4 with Guardians of the Galaxy. I love the dog with a Russian accent. Where am I now? I just started chapter 8. I think that's when they escape the big religious place, and then the whole team is like fighting about whether or not to go back or run away, and morale's low. So that's where I'm at. Where are you, Corey, in Guardians?
I'm a little bit after. So when I started playing Tales, I kind of put Guardians aside because I got sucked into Tales. So I'm like a little bit after Lady Hellbender's Fortress.
Okay.
So I think it's like chapter 6. I think I'm on chapter 6.
So did you have that portion of the game where you actually almost have like a Star Fox moment where you're trying to shoot down enemies on your ship?
Yeah, I'm in the... Let's see, where am I? I just got to this big... It's like an abandoned space station, and you're kind of walking around it, and like you find all these suits, or these robots. I can't remember. I think they're robot suits. Maybe they're just space suits or whatever. And you're kind of walking through, and you're kind of looking around trying to see why the station is abandoned.
Oh, maybe you're a little bit behind me then. I'm not sure, but oh well. Anyway, still a good game, but I think it's really funny because it's on the PS4, so it's not on current gen. That it's very kind of glitchy and laggy, and but my favorite part is if I jump and I miss the ledge and I fall and die, but like the animation, like it'll go through various like screens, and like Star-Lord's leg goes like up and backwards unnaturally. Like it's very weird to see the death sequence just completely bug out.
Yeah, it's funny.
But
it happens on the Series X too. It's just, I think it's just the way the game was designed, and that's just something they're like, that's just something that's going to stay now. His legs going through his torso, but it's fine.
Yep, pretty much. So that's what I'm doing. This is the time of year where there's not a lot of huge games that come out, at least for me. And this is where I really want to hit my backlog, because I bought just an insane amount of games this year, just in general, and I need to start playing them. So
nice.
How about you?
I played some Fortnite this weekend because I told my nephew I'd play with him, so I figured I should probably learn how to play again. And they did like their big reveal of chapter 3 this weekend, and The Rock and Spider-Man and Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War are all in it now. So that's a crew. Kate from Gears is also in it, which I am so happy I am not a Fortnite player, because I would be so poor with all the skins that they put in. Like last year they put all like the PlayStation and Xbox skins in. Like they had the 2 Halo skins, they had Aloy and Kratos, they had all the Marvel characters, they had Batman, like man, and now they have The Rock and the Gears got like
Ariana Grande.
Yeah, Ariana. Yeah, how can you forget Ariana Grande was in Fortnite? Just forgot. God, see,
it's such a weird mashup.
I know.
Right.
It's funny because every time Grayson posts screenshots of Fortnite, I think he's still playing with the Ariana Grande skin, and it makes me laugh. So, man, dude. Okay, so if they ever put the Ninja Turtles in Fortnite, I'm gonna be so poor.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I almost bought the gear skins today. I was staring at them in the store, but they're like, so each skin is $20, but the kit, like the whole kit is $35 with like the glider and the pickaxe and stuff. It's like $35 for one character is so stupid. It's so dumb. These skins should be like $5 and the kit should be $10. Like, But that's why they make
licensing too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, man. Because the last time I seriously considered buying a skin was when Captain America came out. I was like, that'd be a cool skin to have running around, and I'm like, no, because you're never gonna play Fortnite. You're just never gonna play. So I did play a little bit though, because I told my nephew is 8 and he's gonna turn 9 soon, and his parents finally told him that he could play Fortnite. He's been wanting to play forever, but like he's in that weird age where like he's too old to play the little kid games, but he's too young to play games like Fortnite and Halo and stuff. Yeah. But he got the okay to play Fortnite, and he's excited, and he wants to play as Spider-Man now. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, there you go. So I did play a little bit of that. I played a little bit of Halo multiplayer, which is outstanding. It's gosh, it just takes me back to like mostly Halo 3, I would say. I mean, Halo 2 never left my Xbox when I was in college, but like, I don't know, Halo 3 would just hit me different, and man, it feels so much like an evolution of Halo 3. It's ridiculous, to the point where like I'm probably gonna stay up for a couple hours and play the campaign tonight, just so I can talk about it next week. But I've been playing that, and then I've also been playing the Destiny Bungie 30th anniversary event. I haven't done the dungeon yet, but I've started the quest for. So if people don't know, it's the 30th anniversary event for Bungie. They're throwing themselves a big party within Destiny, celebrating their history. So there's a sword from Myth. There's weapons from Marathon, which was their first shooter. There's some Oni stuff in there. And then they didn't say anything about Halo stuff, because it's the only franchise they don't own, right? That stuff is represented. They put the Halo 1 pistol in Destiny as an exotic weapon, and that's like the first quest you get. So like I'm on the quest to get the Halo 1 pistol, and I got the Halo battle rifle last night, and I got the energy sword from Halo last night. And I was like, man, I'm so happy right now. And like they're releasing stuff every week, and a lot of people think the final thing that you're gonna unlock is like a universal helmet, and it's gonna be Master Chief's helmet. But we don't know yet. So, but I don't want to bore anybody else with Destiny stuff, because I feel like all I do is talk about Destiny, and I try really hard not to on this show, especially since there's a whole show dedicated to it that I'm on.
Speaking of, are you guys taking the night off for the Game Awards?
No? That's 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern, right?
I think.
Yes.
It's at 8. I thought it was at 9. Is it at 8?
At night? Yeah. Eastern?
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I have actually I have a date tomorrow, but he is into video games, so like, all right, well, clearly we're just gonna stream the Game Awards, and I might write a couple articles while we're streaming it.
That's awesome.
He's either gonna be really into that or be like, this fucking weirdo.
Yeah, it's a good litmus test.
Yep.
It's going to be one or the other. It's not going to be like an in-between thing.
I will report on that next week. No, but I'm definitely tuning into that.
My wife would have definitely been on the you're fucking weirdo. She still says that sometimes, but
yeah. But before COVID, we had like some of my friends had a Game Awards watch party, and like my wife and I were at something else. My parents were watching our kid, and so we just both went over there. And then she was like, "This is weird. I'm gonna go home." And I'm like, "Cool."
Yeah. I also played a little bit of Tales of Arise, but nothing new to report. I haven't beaten the First Lord yet, because just didn't get there. Getting there. There's too many games to play. Like Stephany said, there's nothing for her to play. This is like Corey game explosion time right now. It's like, stop. Just stop. Stop. I need time, and I need less children. But I'm gonna play. I'm playing a lot of. Well, I already have like scheduled time to play Destiny and Halo this weekend though. So because I want to get those reviews out, mostly the Halo one, but just because the Destiny event is like 4 weeks long and they're adding stuff, so I'll probably write like a wrap up type review for that. We'll see. All right. Well, I guess we can get into our topics now. Patrick, you're our esteemed guest. What is your topic?
Yeah. Okay. So.
Oh wait, hold on. Before you go, I just want to let everybody know, based on some feedback and some research on the show, we are going to kind of shorten the show. We know like 2.5 hours is a long time to listen to a show. I like those types of shows, but I know that I'm in the minority, so we're going to kind of compact the show. We're going to really only have 2 topics a night instead of 4, unless the show's like really only like an hour, and then we'll move into maybe a third one. But just let everybody know we are listening to your feedback. We aren't going to change the show. We're just going to cut a topic or 2 out to make it shorter and more enjoyable, because we listen to you, fans and friends and whoever else listens. Yeah. So, anyways, sorry, Patrick. You can go ahead now.
No problem. So I wanted to talk about story in video games. And forgive me this like philosophical intro before I open it up. Because video games, have sort of an arcadey history, and even in modern video games, gameplay comes first. If a game isn't fun to play, it doesn't matter how good a story it has. If you take issue with any of this, then go ahead and say so. But I believe that as games have evolved, story has gotten more involved in major video games, and we're still not at a point where I think that is like reached its full potential. Like, video games are still a pretty new medium, and I think we're seeing more movement in terms of story in video games. So it's an interactive medium. It's different than film and all that stuff. So I'm interested to hear, if you have any, what your favorite stories in video games are, or if you have any thoughts about like what kind of stories work well, or how gameplay and story can interact. I don't know. It's sort of a big topic, and I, again, if you disagree with anything I said, I'd love to hear that too. But that's sort of what I wanted to talk about.
Ooh! Can I start? Ooh.
Sure.
Go for it.
Yes.
Go for it.
Well, just real quick though, it's funny that you mentioned between story and gameplay, because when I did the Would You Rather, I don't know, like a couple weeks back, one of it is, would you rather have a game that has horrible gameplay but some of the best story, narrative, whatever, or would you have like nearly flawless gameplay but zilch story? But anyway, the first thing I can think of, and I have a few, so I'll just start with one and then I'll pass it to someone else. When you talk about intertwining story with gameplay, I think of What Remains of Edith Finch. Like, I know that game is more a bunch of little stories where you kind of find out, but not really find out, what happens to this family that they're supposedly cursed, but who really knows if the stories have been embellished or not. But that's what I loved about the game, because each individual story had its own different gameplay that went along with telling the unfortunate fate of each family member in that house. I think one of them was I think it was one of the, I don't know, he was a teenager and he had some sort of mental illness, right? And he was starting to like get a little disillusioned from reality, and he works in like some like place where you cut heads off fish. I don't know, he worked in a fishing place, and you have to like make these, slicing motions as he's like cutting up the fish, but like part of the screen gets clouded over with like the machinations of his mind. I think another one was a kid who was really pissed off that his dad was remarrying, and he's flying a kite and you direct the kite as you know, and the way the kite moves, the story continues with the words. So I just think that is such a great idea, and I would love more games like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of, I feel like it depends on what you're going into the game for too, you know, like I think one example to kind of like along the same lines as what Stephany said and along the lines of like, would you rather the game we played a couple weeks ago, like I think the Avengers game is like a great example of like a game where the game kind of was not good, but the story was so interesting, at least to me, that like I pushed through, you know, like because I was really attached to Kamala Khan and the story of her trying to bringing these heroes back together to take on, you know, MODOK and whatever. But like that story was really interesting, and the way they interacted with each other and the way that she was just kind of like this naive kid kind of going in and being like, yeah, let's do it, let's go. And I kind of want to jump into everything. And then watching her grow as a character and bringing these characters back was just, it was awesome. But like the game wasn't good, you know, it was all the in-between stuff that made the game good, right? It's I wish the Avengers was what Guardians ended up being, you know, like I wish you only play as this character and you go through their story, you know.
To that real briefly, just to interject, like that's one of the problems with video games, right? Is the non-linear nature and all the choices and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. If it's a more tight linear experience, then the story can proceed more traditionally.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of games that are actually made better because of their story. Like their gameplay is good or serviceable or whatever. And I think like Uncharted, I think, is a good example of like, oh, this the gameplay is serviceable, but the characters are awesome. And like, you know, I want to see their interactions and Drake's quips and you know, but then there's other games where like the story is like totally secondary and you know, the gameplay is awesome. And I think that's, I don't want this to come off as a negative because I don't want it to be, but I think that's where Xbox kind of shines at the moment, at least, where like the gameplay is so good, but and they tell stories and they're good stories, but like they're not the main reason why you play the Xbox games, right? Like Halo, from what I've heard, like the story's good, but the gameplay is what outshines everything else. Or Gears of War for a long time, like that story, it was good, it was fine, like it was dumb, it was fine, and like there were some serious moments, and like Gears 5, the story is actually like really good, I think, but like the gameplay is what makes Gears. It's not like the story. Like you think of what PlayStation puts out, you think of The Last of Us, you don't think of the gameplay, you think of the story. You think of God of War, you think of the story, you don't really think of the gameplay. I mean, you think of the axe and you calling it back, but that's not like, okay, that's a cool mechanic, but it's not like the gameplay is what makes God of War like it used to, you know? Like I just think you look at these things differently, and it's like, oh man, story is kind of what pulled me through this one. I know I listed off a bunch of AAA games, but that's because I don't play many indies. Like I try. Shovel Knight for the win, by the way.
I think indies are where stories shine, and so it's interesting to hear, you know, AAA games that actually do okay with story.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I agree on that. Indies seem to like be where it's at when you want the story experience, and also, I feel like indies do it the best in this day and age. Like they have a very good marriage of story and gameplay. Mm-hmm. Of course, there are some that are just more like senseless gameplay and nonsensical story, which is no problem. But I'm also one of those people where story is compelling, and I will trudge through the worst game if the story is all right. You know, like you know, because sometimes you know how you can play a game, it feels like it feels like with the level of difficulty in the game, you're just being patronized. It's way too easy. But all you gotta do is just click through another 5 minutes of gameplay, and you're about to get your socks knocked off with like one of the best like story clips ever and stuff like that. Like, I'm one of those people where story does drive how I play games and stuff like that. And it's funny because thinking back to some of the older generations of games and stuff like that. Stephany, you've heard me say it. Like back in the day, like playing NES games, like NES games are so bare bones and stuff. You had to use your imagination to like fill in the gaps of the stories and stuff like that. And then we eventually got to a point where developers started taking story a little more seriously, even though it's still more about the gameplay and stuff like that. And we had like this evolution as things progressed to the Nintendo 64, the PS1 era, PS2, and the Xbox era, and look where we're at now.
Yeah.
I sing praises all day long for games with really good story. Like Stephany, you just beat Metroid Dread, and even though this is the first Metroid game for you, they told the story well enough that you were entertained and you got what you needed off of it, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I do like Metroidvania type games. I mean, this is a Metroid game, but I'll admit, like, I really did struggle. For example, just shooting a room that looked completely solid and ended up finding out that some of it were shootable blocks. But the reason why I didn't give up on this game is because I really wanted to find out, like, what the heck Ravenbeak was all about, and that whole twisty thing at the end. Like, and I know some people would actually kind of have this other perspective and say that the story really wasn't enough or that much, but I don't know, like, it doesn't have to be this big, humongous like plot point. It could just focus in on just like discovering this small secret on a planet and Samus figuring her way out of there. I don't know, it just grasped me. That's all it takes.
I feel like a lot of the criticism around Metroid Dread's plot comes from people who are not too familiar with Metroid, or they haven't played like the main series. Because when I wrote up my review for Metroid Dread, I said that this is a continuation of the main series of Metroid. Because say what you want, like Metroid Prime is a side story. Like it fills in gaps for a history that's outside the main storyline. And so a lot of people like Metroid Dread was their first Metroid game, like possibly ever, and so like I feel like a lot of the criticism goes from the fact that people haven't known the 35-year history of Metroid starting from the NES game. So that's kind of where it got lost in translation for them and stuff like that, because like guys like me, like I was like, spoiler alert, like after everything we saw was Samus in Metroid Fusion. It was like okay, like we come full circle with who Samus is as a character, what she's gone through, in her lifetime, and basically even though we did not see a Metroid we didn't see a Metroid at all this game, like where does Metroid fit into the whole equation and stuff like that, and we got a serious payoff at the end of the game.
Yeah, and I am one of those people where Metroid Dread was my first Metroid Dread, so even though, but I also came in with the knowledge, like, there might be some story bits that I might not fully appreciate. But again, I just think that Nintendo and, oh my gosh, what's the company, Mercury Steam?
Mercury Steam.
I still think they pulled it off so well that I actually saw it as a good thing, and it makes me want to go back and play that series so I can get that full experience, because if I love that little bit, I want to experience the whole shebang.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, I'll give you my suggestions on what games you should play. You should play in the Metroid series.
All right, I'll hit you up after the show and I'll get my list.
Yeah.
You know what else I like, and I don't know if maybe people will be split on this, would be the Detroit Become Human game.
Oh hell, that was such an experience! Oh my god.
Yep, 3 different perspectives. Yeah. Sorry, what?
What I love about like the games that David Cage has produced and stuff like that is you basically write the story. I mean, technically the story elements are all there and everything, but I love those games where it's like choose your own adventure type games. And Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain, Indigo Prophecy, Beyond Two Souls was actually the most linear game that he made, but just you basically controlled the narrative in the story. You made the big decisions and stuff, and even though like it was already laid out, because that's just the way games are programmed and stuff like that. Every game has to have a start, it has to have a beginning, and it has to have a conclusion and stuff like that. That's just the way it is and stuff like that. But Detroit, you basically characterize how the story went, and the fact that there was 3 characters that you controlled throughout the entire game and stuff like that, made it even better. And the cool thing about it is like, and I had to tell people, because people who hadn't played like the previous games before Detroit Become Human, I had to tell them, I was like, hey, like, look, you mess around and let one of these characters die, the game keeps going. There's no game over, no do over, unless you hit the reset button and load the save file. And you better hope like the auto save didn't write over what happened right when you died.
Yeah. But I kind of like that, because it's I don't know, I just feel like it's more realistic instead of just forcing all 3 characters to make it to the end. Well, if that's a choice. And speaking of which, so this is 3 different perspectives, and I think that they intertwine the characters towards the end in a nice way, and I really got invested in all 3 of them. I mean, personally, Connor was my favorite, and I only save scummed once because I wanted the best relationship with Hank. Like, I was so invested. I want them to be besties, and then I did something to piss Hank off, and I think he shot me, and I'm like, no, Hank, no.
Thanks for admitting you save scum, because I had to save scum. I saved scum once, but it was during Kara's during Kara's scenario. It was right at the end. I can't remember the girl's name, but she died. She died, and I was like, oh no, yeah. I was like, no, I cannot deal with this. I've been with this girl the entire game. I cannot deal with this. So I immediately rolled back to save and ran it again.
Wow.
Well, that's when like the narrative of a game is good, is when you're that invested that you want to go back and try the other choice, because Mm-hmm.
But Stephany, I am Team Connor though. Like, Connor was my boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny because, in my opinion, I feel like Connor was the most childlike of all the characters in the game, because even he was a quintessential android. Like, he was following the laws of robotics and all that stuff, but at the same time, you saw he was starting to become aware and question like his own worth and his own abilities and stuff like that. So it was good. Where I enjoyed it. As a matter of fact, I will play it again, because I snagged it on Steam for $12 the other week.
Ooh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah, like that's the lowest the game has been since it's been released on PC.
Look at you snagging stuff on Steam for your PlayStation podcast.
Pat, are there any story beats that you tend to gravitate towards, or just as long as it's good quality?
No, I just think it's an interesting topic. I mean, I'm very interested in it for lots of reasons, but I just think there's a lot of indie games that do story well, like we talked about. But for an example that I might share would be something like Celeste, something that really marries its gameplay with the theme and the story it's trying to tell, of this difficult challenge for Madeline to get up this mountain, and then the gameplay is difficult, and being chased by her own demon. And I think that game does a really good job of telling an interesting, compelling, simple story, but complex in terms of mental illness and that kind of stuff. But and really making the gameplay reinforce the story, and the story reinforce the gameplay, and that sort of thing. I think it's really cool when games. That's what I kind of mean by I think we haven't really seen the full ability of games to really merge these two things, but we're starting to see signs of it.
Now that you mentioned Celeste, you know what I'm thinking of? And again, it's not like a huge plot point, but again, that's not, it's more quality over quantity, right? Is Gree, another indie game where it really focuses on, issue aspects of grief and mental health, and it tells a story with different colors, and the mechanics it's so much symbolism. It just blew my mind. I love that. I'm pretty sure I cried at the end or came close to it.
I did. When the black just swallows the screen and then it's kind of just over. Mm-hmm. That might be a topic for After Dark, by the way. Just how games handle like mental illness or depression or things that people are going through, because I have a lot to say on that subject. So anyways, yeah, I agree. What a game. That's a special game, I will say, for sure. I couldn't put that game down. I think I beat it in 2 days. So, are there any games that do it well both ways, like story and gameplay? Like,
ooh, I got one.
I mean, like the first one that came to mind was like Mass Effect, but I mean, I
can go back even further.
I'm sure you can, LeRon.
Chrono Trigger.
Ah.
I've never played Chrono Trigger.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
That's a great game. PSP version though.
Oh yeah.
Got to get those Final Fantasy 12 characters in there.
Yeah, I feel like Luso was so out of place in that game.
I know. Wait.
There was no characters from 12 in that game, were there?
In the PSP version, the War of the Lions version had
Luso was from Final Fantasy Advance.
No, but gosh, hold on. There were the 2 characters from 12 in that game. Final Fantasy 12.
While he's looking that up, one game that I want to play that I hear the story is great. I don't know if the gameplay is as great as the story. I don't know yet, but I want to play Chicory.
Oh yeah, I haven't played it yet either. But on this list I wrote up for some notes for this is Wander Song, which is made by the same person. Greg Labanov is the main person behind both those games, and Wander Song is a great story and has really unique gameplay and really unique ways that the gameplay and the story interact. And also it's kind of just a criticism of stories in games. It's really great. Like you play as a bard who's your mechanic is to sing. And he's like at the very beginning he's like, oh, you're going to be the hero, and then it turns out, oh no, you're not the hero. And so also plays with the idea of playing as the hero. Really great game. Highly recommend it. And I've heard really good things about Chicory as well.
All right. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Balthier from Final Fantasy 12 is in War of the Lions.
That's right. I forgot about him.
There's also Luso Clemens from Final Fantasy Tactics A2.
Advance, yep.
Cloud from 7 is also in it.
Cloud, he was in the original.
So, anyways,
yeah,
there's
he was in the original. Like, and all his limit breaks were there too.
Cool. Final Fantasy 7 is a mediocre Final Fantasy game, in my opinion. You're welcome. I'm just kidding. I just say that to make a lot of people mad. I don't really know if it's good or not. I played like 3 hours of it, and I also played 9, 10, and 8 all in a row, and I decided to go into 7, and it was just like, I think I was just RPG fatigued. So.
Well, the graphics for the original do not hold up.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've heard that the story in the original Japanese was more complicated, and they cut and changed parts for the American version. Because when I played through Final Fantasy VII, I was like, none of this makes sense, and I don't understand what is going on at all. I mean, I was also like 18 or whatever, but like
us Americans are stupid.
I was like 18 or 19 when I played Final Fantasy VII, and I remember the story feeling very convoluted too. Like, like the only thing I knew for sure, I was like, oh, Cloud's not a real person. That's the only thing I knew for sure.
Yeah.
Wait, he's not a real person?
Okay, he's more real and tangible than Tidus was from Final Fantasy X.
Well, that's part of the story in 10. God, spoilers.
Yeah. How old is this game now? Shoot, 10 is what, like 20 years old now?
Yes, it is.
I mean, at this point, this is like at this point, like, if you didn't know that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father, like, I'm sorry.
Wait, what? Oh. Spoilers.
Rosebud is the sled.
I agree.
Good topic. Great topic.
Yeah, that was good. That was a great topic.
Thanks, Pat.
Yeah.
Love it.
Sorry I left for like a couple minutes. My daughter was like, she woke up crying, but like she was in that I'm kind of asleep but kind of awake kind of middle space.
I like to call it the murmur phase, whereas like they're emotional but they're still asleep.
Yeah. So that's yeah. So all right. Well, LeRon, you said you had a topic ready to go tonight, so we can do that.
Yes, I did. Now I have a very strange habit here. Basically, I'm one of those people where like if I have a favorite TV show or movie, I would just wear it out. Like I mean, like Corey already knows this. Like I'm currently on another rewatch of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep. I saw your tweet today to try to manifest the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What was the other thing? Crossover?
Quake and Captain America? Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's because Kevin Feige said that Charlie Cox is going to play Daredevil again.
Well, yeah, and and so Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was trending. Like I just happened to be on Twitter, and I saw like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was trending, and I was like, this is it. This is it because this is why I'm on this. This is why I'm on this kick that they're about to canonize like at least most of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, it's going to be a multiverse thing, probably, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, probably. Which let's do it. Let's do it. But Chloe Bennett, who played Skye / Daisy Johnson / Quake in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for the entire run of the show, she was picked up to play one of the Powerpuff Girls in the live action remake that CW is making right now, and they'd already filmed like 2 episodes of the show, and she dropped out. She dropped out of the project. She left the show and everything, and there's this big deal because like as we go further into phase 4 of Marvel, like one of the big things, do I have to spoiler alert this? Do I have to?
No.
One of the big things is like it's multiverse theory time in the MCU now. So basically everybody's getting up and I'm kind of swept up in it too. Like, like she dropped out of a surefire gig, so unless you read the script and was like, okay, this crap ain't gonna last 8 episodes, something happened to make her change her commitment. And I'm sitting here thinking because for months she'd been saying, like, oh, if Marvel calls me back, like I will do it, and stuff like that. She'd been saying this on social media for a while, and then next thing you know, she says it one more time, and all of a sudden she disappears.
Well, to be fair, Marvel money is probably a lot more money than CW money.
For real. Yeah. So I saw Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. trending, so I was like, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. And I saw it, I was like, man, everybody's just putting their wish list together. And I was like, you know what? I'll throw my wish list out there too. That was it. So anyway, so my question is like, okay, so like I've been shows that I've already seen, and are in love with and stuff like that. So do you guys do that? And give me some of your best shows that you re-binge. Because I'm always binging Star Trek. I'm always doing that. At one point I was binging like Supernatural, but Supernatural got crazy and it's got like 15 seasons. I gotta really like put effort in like to rewatch that show.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is my go-to, like it's one of those things, and I don't know, I just love the characters so much and things. I also feel like like Marvel gave them the bad end of the stick because they were the TV version, of the universe.
Yeah, well, that was at a time when the TV division was different from the movie division, right? And then they kind of just folded them all into the same thing, and then they're like, well, So,
well, yeah.
Hold on. I need to ask you a question, though. Like, if Charlie Cox is still Daredevil, does that make the Netflix shows canon now, too?
I feel like it has to. I honestly feel like it has to.
Because all the way up until the Defenders crossover series, they acknowledged everything that happened before, right? Like,
just very small. It would be just like the Green Man or something. Like somebody would mention it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they do it in a very cautious way. Like
they didn't even talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. technically was part of the TV branch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's honestly why that was honestly my biggest falling out with the Netflix shows. Like they didn't want to acknowledge Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I never actually watched. Well,
you're just sour that nobody likes Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. except for you.
That could be it too, but I mean, like
LeRon had it on like 6 different TVs to get the ratings boosted. He's like, "Come on, guys, I just want one more season."
I had 2 Nielsen boxes, and I made sure my phone, my tablet, and my computer were streaming the reruns on Hulu.
He has like 5 Netflix subscriptions just to like have them all going.
I feel like I'm one of the people why that show got 7 seasons, because that show felt like it was going to end after season 5.
Yeah, wasn't that? Then they end season 5 on like a we're ending it here just in case.
Yeah, they did. Like they started tying up every loose end.
Man,
and then somehow pulled out a season 6 and a season 7.
I watched like the first like 5 or 6 episodes and I was like really into it, and then I just stopped watching it.
You know why? I can give you the answer for why you and a lot of people got out of it. People were expecting the Marvel films, in TV version.
I wasn't. I started watching it when we were doing the other version of standard definition. Because you talked me into watching it, and I watched like 6 episodes, and I was really into it, and then
you just fell off.
I stopped. I don't know why. I just stopped watching.
I know. Well, I have a theory for why you stopped watching it, because because a guy like me, I was watching it when it was coming on. So like that show has a jump off point, and the jump off point is because it was running concurrent with the Marvel films. That jump off point was the weekend that Captain America: The Winter Soldier came out, because the events in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, basically it was a ripple effect that actually hit the show, and the show continued running from the events of what happened in the Winter Soldier. It was like Shield fell, like Hydra is everywhere and stuff like that. And then they continued to incorporate more stuff that was going on. The Sokovia Accords, like Ultron, they continued talking about that stuff, and at the same time, the movie division was just shitting on them. It got to the point where once Thanos came for Infinity War, they had something that happened, and then the next season it was like, oh, we're in the multiverse now as far as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. goes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it just ties into Loki now. That's all.
Hey, you know what? Loki probably was the reason why.
Loki. Okay, so I know this isn't your topic, but I like the Disney Plus shows a lot. Like I really loved WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I really like Hawkeye. Loki was the one that was like, this is too much for me.
Oh, really?
I was like, I like Owen Wilson. He's great. Really missed the chance to put him in a Lightning McQueen car though, when he was driving around the where all the people go when they get zapped. But I could not get into Loki, and it's like the only one that's getting a second season, and I'm like, no, I want more Falcon and Winter Soldier. I want more WandaVision.
Well, I think the reason it's getting the second season is because it's separate multiverse type thing, right? And the other stuff is all gonna coalesce with Avengers, or whatever, a new Avengers group or whatever.
Yeah. Plus, whatever happens with Spider-Man coming up, and whatever the next trilogy that Sony prematurely announced, apparently, because they announced it, and then Kevin Feige was like, "We don't have anything to announce at this time, except that." Oh, someday we'll see Tom Holland and Tom Hardy on screen at the same time, because Venom is iconic or whatever. Did you see that interview that came out today or yesterday, LeRon?
I gleaned some of it, but I haven't seen it all. But it also explains why on the 10th, like Spider-Man, the 2018 version of Spider-Man is getting basically a symbiote suit, mm-hmm. and the Tom Holland suit from Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, those are already in there though. I think they were, at least when I played. The black suit and the. Like, all the suits were in there, even the Tobey Maguire suit.
This suit's black and gold. This suit's black with, like, gold highlights.
Yeah, that was in it, I think.
It was?
When I played it, yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I gotta see. Well, all I know is, like, when they made that announcement trailer, now it's like, okay, I got a reason to play Spider-Man again.
I'm like, man, I wish I was as excited for Spider-Man as everybody else was. Like
the movies or the games?
The movie. Well, both, actually. I didn't really like the game, like, at all, really. I like swinging around, but, like, everything else was like, I feel like I've done this before, like, 1,000 times.
Well, if I can admit something, when the Tom Holland Spider-Man movie started, I was done. I was like, you just rebooted a series that was already rebooted. Like, mm-hmm. I'm over this, and I was already kind of over it because when the Spectacular Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield series started off, they made the cardinal sin of spending the first half of the movie telling his origin story, and it's like, dude, like, everybody's already seen the damn origin of Spider-Man. Like, you should have spent 20 to 25 minutes tops on how he got his powers, and then moved the hell on and start with your original stories, stuff like that.
Like, I think it'll be cool if, like, what everybody thinks is going to happen is really happening. Like, I really liked seeing the old villains from that original trilogy, because, like, I remember liking the first movie and really liking the second movie. It's been so long since I watched them, I don't even know if they hold up at all. But, like, seeing those villains was cool. But, like, I don't know, man. If you have the villains, you got to have you have to have
the other Spider-Man,
Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in there, right? Like, you kind of have to.
How do you pluralize that? Is it Spider-Men or is it
Spider-Mans?
Or is it Spider's Man?
It's Spider guys.
Spider.
No, I hope they pull a fast one and it's Spider Ham.
Yes, please.
I think they're gonna tease Miles Morales in this movie, and I think the next trilogy is gonna be, not like a Spider-Verse movie, but it's gonna be like, I bet somewhere along the lines, like, Zendaya becomes like the MCU's version of Spider-Gwen or something. And like Miles Morales and Tom Holland will all be swinging around like Spider Kids, I guess. I don't know what you call them. Spider people, because there's a girl there now, so you can't just say Spider-Man. You gotta be inclusive.
I love the tangent this has gone off on. So let's do this. Let's talk about. Let's just go on our wish list for what we want to see going forward with the MCU. Just give two things that you want to see going forward.
The X-Men. You already heard.
Okay, that's a good one. X-Men, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love the Avengers. Right? They're good. They're cool. I like it, but I want the X-Men. I grew up on the X-Men. Grew up on the cartoon. I grew up on the bad to mediocre movies, depending on which ones you watch. Like, I want, so also with like the whole multiverse thing, like the big rumor right now with Deadpool 3 is that it's like a road trip through the multiverse with Wolverine, and that Hugh Jackman is returning as Wolverine one more time to like play a small part in the road trip. But like, I don't know, it takes place before Logan apparently, but like still, and then it's how Deadpool comes into the MCU. Is like he gets sucked into like one of the multiverses or something, and it's the MCU multiverse or whatever. But like, I just want them to like because like I watched like even the older movies, and then the newer movies. Like I think the cast for a lot of the characters are great. Like I think the girl that played Storm in the last couple movies is awesome. What's her name?
I can't
Shipman or something.
remember.
I forget what her name is.
I can't remember the actress, but I know
like,
who you're talking about.
In Apocalypse, when she had the mohawk and stuff going on.
Yeah.
God, it was so good. I was
she embodied the young version of Storm.
Yeah, and she did the accent right, and like, because remember when Halle Berry tried to do it for like half the first movie, and then she just stopped somewhere in the middle, and she was like, "I can't do this. I'm not finishing this movie with this accent." Like that's cool, and like Michael Fassbender as Magneto was awesome, and
I gotta say I mean like. Not saying anything bad about Sir Ian McKellen and stuff like that, but Fassbender's Magneto was
awesome.
In my opinion, like one of like the best depiction of Magneto I could have ever dreamt for.
I know.
Agreed.
And, like, I know that somewhere in one of the comic runs, they're like kind of changing Magneto's powers to where he ages slower to keep the Holocaust thing as his, because like. After so long, you can't have Magneto as a villain. It doesn't work. He's too old.
It's always his his powers of magnetism does actually control his aging to a certain extent.
I know, but they're like increasing that to make sure that he stays younger longer. I think, and that's why like I don't know. There was a recent I can't remember like. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, like they did this run with Wolverine and Magneto, and they were like, that's why they're so attached, is because like Magneto is the only one that can really take on Wolverine, right? Because Wolverine's made of metal, obviously, and like I don't know, and like the age thing had a really big part to play in it. I don't know, it was really cool, but I want to see the X-Men. I want to see a good X-Men story, like. I want to see who they cast to play these characters. It's really interesting because we've had the same people play these characters for 20-something years now. You know, whatever movie you're watching. You know, don't get me wrong. James McAvoy was a cool version of Professor X, but like Patrick Stewart, man, is Professor X, man. Like
McAvoy plays a good a good 70s era like Charles Xavier.
Yeah,
he does. Yeah. But Stewart is like he is like
I know
Professor X. He is,
and like I know Hugh Jackman is way too big to play Wolverine, but like I can't think of Wolverine without Hugh Jackman now. But like who are you gonna get to play Wolverine now? You know, I know there was like a rumor going around that the black guy from Bridgerton, the show on Netflix, might play him. I forget what his name. John.
Might play who?
Wolverine. It's a rumor. It's one of the rumors floating around.
I can't even see that.
I don't know, man. I'm just throwing it out there. And a lot of people wanted Tom Hardy to play Wolverine, but he's already Venom. And it's like everybody you pick to play one version of these characters, like they've already appeared in the MCU somewhere. It's like you're running out of people.
I can't see Tom Hardy playing Wolverine either. Even if he was never like like Venom.
Then you don't want to hear the other rumor. Then
what's the other rumor?
Shia LaBeouf was rumored to play Wolverine at some point.
Huh.
Okay, was that your wish list?
No, it's not my wish list. I want to see who they're going to cast because like we've had these characters for so long and we know who's played them for so long. Like who do they play or who's going to play them? You know. It's like in 20 years when they finally recast Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. It's like who's gonna do that? You know, like I don't know, some person that's probably not even born yet. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I want to see the X-Men, and then I want to see. Man, I want to see if Kang the Conqueror is really the next big bad, or if he's like the Loki of this current stage of the MCU. You know, like what if Galactus is the next big bad or something?
Yeah, I feel like Kang is a stepping stone.
I think Kang is the Loki of this phase. You know, because like obviously the first Avengers they fought Loki, but then it turned into Thanos being the big bad. You know, like I feel like that's where Kang is clearly gonna be.
Yeah. It feels way too. It feels way too early for like his reveal. You know, honestly, like I mean, he did get revealed, but it seems way too early.
Yeah. What do you guys want to see? I feel like I've just been rambling for so long.
Yeah. What's your wish list? Damn, this feels like we just slipped into standard definition, doesn't it, Corey?
I know. I gotta talk to Mark because I think we're gonna do the first Spider-Man. I want to get him involved on that show since he's doing like entertainment stuff, and I like talking to Mark. And Patrick, you can come on too. I don't care. Whatever.
I'm just excited to see this, what I believe is happening, which is, you know, we've got a new Captain America, we've got a new Hawkeye. I want to see this second round of Avengers assemble, you know, see Vision 2.0, and you know, the Falcon now being rebranded as Captain America, teaming up, all the ones the show seems to be setting up. Kate Bishop is a Avenger, etc., etc. I'm excited for how they bring all those characters together to face whatever this first threat is. That I think they're setting it up well, and I'm just interested to see the payoff of that.
Yeah. Can we talk about how good that suit was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, by the way, when they finally revealed it? The Captain America Falcon suit. So good. So good. What, LeRon? What's wrong with it?
No. That was me.
Are you fantasizing about Anthony Mackie in a Captain America suit now? Is that what those groans were for? I don't know. I can't tell these days, okay? I'm sorry.
By the way, I just love the fact that, you know, when they introduced him as Falcon, like they made the Falcon costume make fucking sense.
I know. I know. I was like, so around the time when he was introduced in Winter Soldier, right? So like around that time was when Disney was still doing the Disney Infinity stuff and the Marvel stuff was getting ready to come out, and they showed the Falcon toy for the first time, and it was like the bright red and white suit. I was like, how are they going to make that in the MCU? And then I started like researching Falcon. I'm like, okay, well, he's clearly someone that can fly, and they're like, I'm seeing him with like real wings and like this little pet bird that like, you know, does stuff for him. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense if they're going to introduce this in Captain America. Like, what are you doing? And then like when he gets the suit for the first, or like the pack for the first time, and puts the goggles on, and then the wings come out, I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's really cool. That's what I used to like about the MCU, is like everything kind of felt more grounded, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah, it wasn't super.
Yeah,
it's off the rails now.
Yeah, and like now, like I like this stuff. Like I still think like Scarlet Witch is one of the best characters they've written, especially since Civil War, I would say. But like all the cosmic stuff and the magic stuff is like, I don't want to say it's turning me off, but it like makes me less interested almost. You know, I mean, like I don't really care for the Guardians movies, right? Because I think at the time I was expecting one thing, and they were so different from what was happening in the rest of the MCU that it was like, oh, this wasn't what I was expecting, you know?
I enjoyed the first film. I really did not like the second one.
Yeah, the second one's pretty bad. I don't care. I don't know. Maybe it was also at a time when like Chris Pratt was literally in everything at the time, and like every movie you turned on, he was there.
Then
and
he was in everything.
Yeah, like it was.
He's in everything.
No, it was Guardians, and then my wife and I were binging Parks and Rec at the time, and then he was in Jurassic World, which was also a really bad movie, and like he was starting to pop up in like that one space Jennifer Lawrence movie that he did, where they were like the only two. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see. If I'm not mistaken, let me see. We had Parks and Rec was the first time I'd heard of him. Then he was in Zero Dark 30. Then it was that was Jurassic World before it was Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. Jurassic World, then Guardians of the Galaxy happened, and then all of a sudden he was every goddamn where, and stuff like that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those people who like hates Chris Pratt. I don't mind Chris Pratt. It's just like he was literally in everything, and like so from. Let's see. I'm looking at his IMDb right now. It was where's Guardians of the Galaxy? Guardians of the Galaxy, Jurassic World, The Magnificent Seven.
Guardians was before Jurassic. Okay.
The Magnificent Seven, both the Lego movies, Passengers, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, like Zero Dark 30, that was before everything else, but like he was just in like everything with it. In 3 years, he did 9 projects, and it was just like,
let's look at this way. Dude lost weight, and all of a sudden, everybody wanted him in Hollywood. That's what that was.
I mean, yeah, it's fair.
I mean, shoot. I guess I need to lose weight.
Dude, I definitely need to lose weight. This job, by the way, there's food on every single table all the time, and I just walk by and grab like a candy bar or like a Starburst, and I
feel like you're living the dream, dude.
Dude,
free candy at work is dangerous for that reason. Like you're a little bit stressed, and it's really easy to just like.
And I'm a person that stress eats anyway. Like if there's food around and I'm stressed, I will be eating as much of it as possible. So yeah, but yeah. By the way, my job is awesome. And I'm not just saying that because I think people from work listen to the show. I'm saying that like genuinely. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is the best.
Patrick, give us 2 things on your MCU wish list going forward.
I really don't have a lot. That was it. I'm trying to like rack my brain for what characters aren't already in it. Like I don't know, Moon Knight or something. Like
he is.
Is he? Or is he's TV side?
Yeah, but it's still like Disney Plus MCU. Like
is that announced but hasn't come out yet?
Yeah, it's what's his name?
See, there you go. I can't even think of a character that's not already around.
God, what's his Oscar Isaac is playing Moon Knight.
They've done a lot of my favorite storylines already too. Like
Blade. Blade's gonna be cool if they do it right. By the way.
Yeah, the fact they picked Mahershala Ali to play Blade is insane.
Yeah. Couldn't have picked anybody better for that role, I don't think, at this point.
Because I'm like, man, he can pull it off because like if you saw him how he was in Alita Battle Angel, man, like this is the guy.
Yeah, he's Stephany, you got any MCU? Cat. Who's playing Cat? Man,
I feel like I'm the cat lady.
That's her flirking.
By the way, not MCU related, but Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman in the new Batman movie.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I might go see that a couple times. I love Zoe Kravitz. Yeah.
I don't blame you.
That is a beautiful family, by the way. Have we ever talked about how beautiful that entire family is? By the way,
we need to.
Dude,
not tonight though.
Lenny Kravitz is like 58 years old, and he's like rocking a 12-pack, and like
he looks like he's still in his low 30s.
I know. I'm like, God, I look older than fucking God. Anyways, sorry. Continue. I got distracted by the Kravitz family.
Understandable distraction. I honestly, I feel like I can relate a lot to Pat. Like I think I've I can't picture anyone that I'd want to see that hasn't already been introduced, and I've fallen behind, admittedly, on the TV side of things. So there might be things I'm completely unaware of. So my only wish list type thing is very small and very humble. That I hope they tie up neatly I don't know if it's like an unspoken trilogies of movies that need to be completed, which would be Thor. I think it's going to take a very funny, lighthearted end, given how Infinity War and Endgame portrayed Thor, which could either be really great or kind of a bummer. The third Guardians, I also really hope they don't screw up. And then also the next Black Panther, right? Because they're still doing another one.
Yep.
So my wish list because Iron Man, Captain America, that's kind of done. This is like the next leg that's kind of sunsetting, and I just don't want them to screw it up.
Mm-hmm. Black Panthers. The news from Black Panther is getting scary because like they've had to stop production twice for COVID, and Letitia Wright just got into a serious accident.
Yeah, they've delayed production for like 3 months because
she was performing a stunt. She performed a stunt on a motorcycle and got. I still haven't. I don't know the extent of what happened during the accident, but they said for a moment like she was hanging on for life.
Yeah. Yeah. You think they're gonna? You think she's gonna play the new Black Panther? You think that's where they're going with that, or do you think?
If they're trying to stick with the comics legacy, I feel like she would have to be the next Black Panther. But I don't know. Like I don't want to speculate a lot because every time I hear that like it's gonna go that way, they're also saying like it's a short-term thing and it's wrapped up before the movie ends.
Yeah. Yeah. I just I don't know. That's a hard thing to follow up that first movie with because I mean, obviously the sad news of Chadwick Boseman.
I love him.
I know he was so good, and like I watched the episode of What If where he was Star-Lord, and like it was just like, man, this is like, I don't know, it's weird seeing. It's I don't know if uncomfortable is the right word, but it's like it makes you feel a lot of like this is just eerie and kind of. I don't know if they should have done this, type thing, but. Even though it was already done and in the can. I felt
some sort of way. Like I wouldn't say ultimately was negative or anything, but it just sat uncomfortably while I was listening to his voice. I'm like, but he's not really here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love him so much. But yeah, I know that wasn't two things, but like it's a very genuine wish because those are some of my favorite movie characters. I really love the Guardians. I love Black Panther. Thor's all right, but I still want to see that end strong. I mean, if I were to have like a sub-second wish, like I really hope they really take off with Shang-Chi after that movie. Like I really hope they.
Did you see the news for Shang-Chi, by the way?
Is this recent?
Yeah, like yesterday.
Oh no! What is it? What happened?
They all signed on for a sequel, and they're developing a Disney Plus show around the lore of Shang-Chi.
Look, my wish just came true.
Right away.
I'm telling you, more Michelle Yeoh. Please give it to me.
I love Shang-Chi, so my wish. Yep, 50% of my wish has come true.
I really liked that movie. It was a nice change of pace for the MCU. I feel like it felt kind of MCU-ish, but then it was just like a nice change of like. I mean, I know they kind of went into like some Chinese lore and stuff that I'm not like super familiar with, and like kind of tied it into Marvel stuff, but like it's kind of nice not watching 4 white dudes beat up aliens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That first fight scene in that movie too is like the best choreographed fight scene in any Marvel movie. Like, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I loved like the last big battle with like the dragons and stuff. I thought that was really
so over the top. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was kind of afraid because like I was like, oh man, this is just gonna be another CG like awful, whatever. I mean, not that they're awful, but like there's a very clear formula, right, that they follow, and like. I'm like, oh man, this is just gonna be okay. This is gonna end in like a CG dragon fight, which is gonna cost like 80% of the movie's budget. But like, I thought it was done really well. I thought I thought it was all done pretty well. So, Shang-Chi, that was a nice surprise. Awkwafina too, by the way. The bus scene where she's like driving the bus and kind of like screaming the whole time while they're fighting. Great scene.
Yeah.
Great scene. Good topic, LeRon. Listen to this.
Hey, it was more like a converted topic. Everyone knows like I'm a hopeless romantic now for Agents of Shield because
I'm glad it was.
I'm like on the 8th binge of the show now.
I'm glad it was like that though, because I barely watch TV shows as it is, let alone like
Oh.
Like binge shows. The only shows that I binge or rewatch would be like old sitcoms, like Everybody Loves Raymond or something. Like I'll just throw it on in the background while I'm editing a video or something.
Yeah, for me it's The Office. I can't tell you the number of times that I've watched and rewatched and rewatched and rewatched that damn show.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's where a lot of my binges happen. Cause sometimes when I'm just doing like I'm an IT guy, so like something on TV whenever I'm doing my work and stuff like that, or when I'm doing just like the random projects and stuff for Boss Rush and stuff like that. Something's on, so like it's real easy for me to put on something that's familiar. So all I have to, I just passively listen to it and stuff like that. So it's usually Star Trek or one of my favorite shows and stuff like that, because I don't need to devote that much attention. I've already seen it and stuff like that. So, but something about when I put Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on that I eventually just wind up, okay, like I'm watching this until I get through all, like I want to say it was like 100 and how many episodes of that show? I don't remember off the top of my head. I can find out real fast.
Too many. Just kidding.
136 episodes.
Ooh, wow.
That's tame. That's tame. Like a season of the old school Star Trek. I mean, like an entire run of the old school Star Trek is like 100, almost 200 episodes.
That's fair.
Yeah. Since we all gave a quick answer on that actual question, I actually don't really rewatch stuff at all. I don't really replay video games. There's just so much content, and I'm kind of like a check off the list person. Like, watched it, I need a comfort thing though. Maybe you're making me feel like maybe I'm missing out on something.
It's funny that you said the comfort thing, because I was just realizing as everybody was saying like they don't rewatch stuff. I read recently that it's like a tick that people with ADD and ADHD suffer from. Like it's something about the familiarity that it's their comfort and stuff like that. And like I didn't want to believe it, because like my roommates have been saying it for a while, that you just don't like to watch new shows because you don't like either the unexpected or whatever it is and stuff like that. And that could be it, because like when I get hooked onto a new show, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also the other equation. This is kind of what I hate about like what we deal with Netflix and stuff like that now. Like like shows come on Netflix or HBO Max or whatever you want, right? They're on for a few seasons and they get abruptly canceled, or they just end suddenly. I'm one of those people, when I find out that a show that I want to watch has been canceled or ended, I usually won't finish it. I feel like it's a waste of my time. It's easier. It's honestly easier for me to like. This is why I like the Disney Plus, equation. And HBO Max, for example. HBO Max. I think HBO Max now does it to where like each episode is week by week. Versus
I think they drop like the first 3 episodes of a series, and then they'll do week to week. Amazon does the same thing, I think, now.
Yeah, like it's easier for me because if you want me to pay attention to a show, like have me keep coming back to it. Mm-hmm. Don't make it like something to where like it's so accessible, so easily consumable for me, and then I find out, oh, like you just canceled the show like while I'm in the middle of like the second season. Like, guess what? I'm done watching your show now.
Yeah. But then you also run into the problem where, like, they think they're going to get canceled, so they wrap the show up, and then they get renewed, and then they're, like, the next 2 seasons are, like, bad seasons because you're like...
Oh, you know what?
Well, we ended the show, so now we have to come up with new ideas.
Here's something I've always told myself: if I ever make it to where like I actually wind up, a Hollywood screenwriter and stuff, wind up in the writer's room and stuff, or showrunner, one thing I'm never going to do is end my seasons on cliffhangers. What I will do instead, okay, like let's say like a traditional TV show goes like a traditional TV show is 20 plus episodes. Let's say we have a 22 episode season because it's on ABC, NBC, or whatever. If I'm writing the season for 22 episodes, what I will do is, as we get close to episode 20, I will start tying up that storyline for that season, And then what I will do, instead of making some crazy ass cliffhanger, at the end of for the season finale, like the storyline will tie off for the season, and you might have a cliffhanger that's dubious to the fact that it's like, okay, I got to come back and see what's going on, but it's not like like the fate of the entire universe is at stake, when we drop off, because like if the show gets canceled. I don't want people pissed off at me, like the showrunner, the writer, the producer, or whatever, because of the fact that I decided to throw it. Because I get pissed off all the time when shows get canceled, and we're on a major cliffhanger. I mean, like, didn't Heroes get canceled on a cliffhanger?
Yeah.
Stuff
like it kind of like it was like a weird cliffhanger where like it totally wrapped the show, but also left threads open to lead into a 5th season, which like. By the way, Heroes, that first season was really good. Mm-hmm. The second 2 seasons were really bad. But then, like, the 4th season, like, about, I would say, a quarter of the way through the 4th season, it started getting really good again, and then it ended really well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my pledge and my promise. Like if I doubt I'll ever get that big, but who knows? Like hey,
who knows?
Dream big sometimes, right?
right.
Yeah, like but my promise is if I ever get to that point, like I will never end a project. I will never end a project on a to be continued. I will never do that.
That's fair. All right. Well, I think it's time to wrap the show, guys. We did it. Shorter show.
Woo!
Yay.
Proud of ourselves. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to this episode of the Boss Rush Podcast. You can watch us live on Wednesday nights on Twitch. You can download the show on Monday mornings. Patrick, thank you for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure having you tonight. You're welcome back anytime. You can make it, or you want to come on. Maybe you don't want to come back. I don't know. But it was fun. It was fun talking to you. Where can people find you?
Yeah, most places online, I am PDYX or PDYX123.
Cool. Stephany?
You can find me on Twitter at Klimov, KLIMOV_author.
LeRon?
You can find me everywhere. Social media, Twitch, YouTube, and on the various gaming platforms as Exodus 803, EXODUS 803. And don't forget, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/Exodus 803 for Crossroads PlayStation Podcast, our weekly PlayStation event.
Nice. You can find me at IamCoreyNHT on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me hosting Arsenal X, the Xbox podcast, right here on the Boss Rush Network as well. Wow, that was... I don't know what had just happened. I was about to sneeze, and then I didn't. And I just kept going.
So unsatisfying when that happens.
I know. And then you just sound like an idiot. You can find all of our content on bossrush.net, including all of our shows, podcasts, written works, reviews, and more. I want to thank everybody so much for watching and or listening. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you listen to this show. 5 stars. It'd be great. We'll see you next week on the Boss Rush Podcast. Goodbye, everybody.
Love you. Bye.
Take care of yourselves.